Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming. This is a talk on building with ERC 6551. It's going to be a little bit technically in depth. We're going to chat a little bit about what ERC 6551 is, what you can do with it, and then we're going to kind of get hands-on into how you can use it in your hackathon projects this week. Obligatory intros. I'm Jayden. I'm one of the developers at Future Primitive, which is a Web3 venture studio. If you want to ping me this weekend for questions about ERC 6551, that's my Twitter. DMs are open. Feel free to ask. Would love to help support anyone who's building ERC 6551 related things. We're Future Primitives. We build all sorts of crazy experiments with tokens. So we've done a lot of experimental NFT projects, and ERC 6551 is a proposal that we proposed based on a lot of the work that we've been doing on trying to push the bounds of what can you do with NFTs. How can you give NFTs abilities beyond just being an asset that's stored in your account and let them do things? So we've been doing a lot of crazy experiments with that, and ERC 6551 introduces a new concept called a token-bound account. ERC 6551 gives every single NFT that's ever existed or ever will exist its own wallet. Your NFT has its own unique wallet address, and that means it can own other NFTs, it can own ETH, it can own ERC20s. Your NFT can now own things natively because it has its own wallet address. It also means that you can use your NFT to interact with applications. Because your NFT has a wallet, your NFT can now do anything on-chain that a wallet can do. So you could connect to OpenSea and trade NFTs as your NFT. Your NFT would own other NFTs that it buys and sells and trades on OpenSea, or you could trade in Beam coins, or you can vote on proposals. Anything you can imagine doing with a wallet, your NFTs can now do too. And this works with everything. Like these addresses you can see on my screen are real token-bound account addresses for real NFTs. And I'll show you that real quick. So one thing, if you want to start playing around with ERC 6551 that's really easy to do, is if you want to see the token-bound account address for an existing NFT, it's really easy. So this is the Genesis CryptoKitty. This launched at ETH Waterloo 6 years ago, was when CryptoKitties launched. That's one of the first NFT projects. So this is a really old NFT. Nobody's touched this NFT contract in ages. But this NFT has a token-bound account via ERC 6551. And an easy way to find that is to just replace OpenSea with tokenbound.org for any NFT, any ERC 721 NFT. And you'll find, whoops, I gotta deal with viewport sizes or something. Oh, here we go. There we go. This is the NFT's wallet address. This is a unique wallet associated only with this NFT. And this wallet can only be used by the owner of the Genesis CryptoKitty. You can think of it like a token-gated Gnosis safe. Wherever the NFT goes, ownership of the wallet goes too. So this NFT owns this NFT via a token-bound account. And so for any NFT you want to see the token-bound account of, you can just replace OpenSea with tokenbound.org and you'll find it. Every NFT from CryptoKitties onwards to the project you launched this weekend, it comes with a wallet. That means you can make assumptions that NFTs can own things, that NFTs can do things, which is some really powerful things you can do in projects you're building. NFTs also have their own transaction history, which is kind of cool. You can see all the actions that NFT has done on Etherscan. So here's how it works. So ERC 6551 proposes a couple of new it proposes a new smart contracts and a new account interface inside the EIP. So what you're seeing here, it's kind of like it'll expand as we go through it, but you're used to NFTs existing on-chain, right? So NFTs exist as a smart contract. There could be many NFTs in one smart contract, and usually there's a user that owns the NFT, right? So in this case, we have a 721 contract called NFTB, and there's a token with ID 456. And so this user owns NFTB number 456. We're used to that. Everybody's kind of aware of, and NFTs are owned by wallets. What ERC 6551 introduces is a new smart contract called the ERC 6551 registry. And this registry is what gives every single NFT its unique address. You can query this registry with the token contract and token ID for any NFT and get back a unique wallet address that will be owned by that NFT. The registry is a single entry point you can query for all of that data, and it works with any NFT. The registry also deploys the smart contract at these addresses. So these token-bound accounts are really smart contract wallets that are owned by the NFT, and that ownership by the NFT owner is enforced at the smart contract level. So when you ask the registry for an account address for your NFT, it'll give you back an account address that you know will only ever be owned by that NFT. And so NFTs can own multiple accounts. In this case, token 123 on contract A owns 2 accounts. token 456 on contract B owns one account, and this account is managed by the holder of the NFT. So this user owns token 456. That means that they have full root execution permissions on the account. They can do whatever they want with it. They can use it as a wallet. They can do anything you can do with a wallet. But if they ever sell this token, everything in the wallet goes with the token. So when you sell the NFT, all of the things you've collected in the wallet go with it because it's really the NFT that owns the account. And then the final piece of this is the implementation. Every account is really just a proxy to an account implementation that implements a very minimal interface. And that you can find all that in the EIP. But essentially, the EIP provides a registry that everybody can query for account addresses for NFTs. And then it also provides a very minimal interface for implementations. So that's it. It works on every EVM chain, wherever you're building, as long as it's EVM compatible, you can use it. You can also permissionlessly deploy that registry to the canonical address. It's fully decentralized. Like we don't own it. It's in the IP. You can go nuts deploying it. And it works with every NFT on every EVM compatible chain. And so you can now build applications assuming that NFTs can own things and do things from day zero. There's been lots of people who have been helping us build this out. This kind of originated as a project that we were building on, but as we've started to speak with other folks and started to collaborate with other teams, this is a list of a couple of the other companies that have been involved in helping refine the standard or building on the standard. We've got a working group of like 700 developers who are building on ERC 6551. If you want to join or ask questions, it's available to you this weekend. So, yeah, what you've seen already, there's a bunch of tooling that we've been building around ERC 655. Well, that kind of core concept of NFTs having wallets, that's basically all you need to know to work with ERC 6551. You don't need to do anything special on your NFT contracts. You can launch the most normal, vanilla, off-the-shelf template NFT, and it will come with a wallet. And so that's all you need to know. All you need to know is your NFTs come with wallets now, and there's a few ways that you can interact with them. One way you can interact with them is via the Tokenbound Explorer. So you saw this earlier when I went to tokenbound.org when I replaced the OpenSea URL. You can see on the Tokenbound Explorer the address for any NFT. So if I go back to this tab here, this is the CryptoKitty. I don't happen to own this CryptoKitty, but if I connect my wallet and go to my NFTs, you can see a list of NFTs that I own on chain. And so for any of these NFTs, I can go in here and I can see the account contents of the NFT. This is an NFT project that we released called Sapiens, which is one of the first collections to use this natively. But what happens is this at Sapiens NFT owns these three NFTs. And these three NFTs are actually clothing items that the NFT can equip. So you can see this background is an equipable item. And this NFT has that background equipped onto its artwork. That's possible because this NFT owns this background token. But what's really cool is you can use this NFT can own tokens that are from other collections too. So this NFT is not part of the clothing collection that we released. This is from a separate collection. But you can also equip this NFT as a piece of clothing onto your Sapiens NFT. By giving NFTs wallets, we let NFTs own any assets, and you can build on top of this crazy composability layer. Like you can send any NFT you want to into another NFT. Another example here, if I go and show you, this is someone who's sent a whole bunch of stuff into their Sapiens NFT. You can see this NFT owns a Azuki, and it owns a Doodle, and it owns a Moonbird, and it owns a CryptoKit. And this just works out of the box because the NFT has its own address and can receive any asset. Sorry, I got to fix a bug in the renderer apparently on this page. But that's the ERC 6551 Explorer. You can go there, you can connect your wallet. You can think of it like Etherscan for Tokenbound accounts. For any NFT, you can find its wallet address. You can see it here, and that'll link you off to Etherscan, where you can see all the transactions it has done. It'll also show you everything inside the wallets, and if you own the NFT, you can transfer things out. If I click this, I can transfer this NFT to any other wallet. I can use this like a wallet through the tokenbound.org interface. So that's one place you can go to start building on top of Tokenbound accounts. If you want to link out to this in your projects, this is kind of like a good default place where people can play around with Tokenbound accounts. But this is a hackathon, so we're going to want to build some cool, interesting, new custom stuff this weekend. So we have a lot of tooling we built to help you with doing that. The first and foremost is the Tokenbound SDK. So if you go at npm install at tokenbound/SDK, that's the GitHub repo, tokenbound/SDK. This is probably the easiest way to get started building front ends with ERC 6551. You're just an npm package away, and you can query for the address for any existing NFT. You can deploy the smart contract at that address, and you can interact with the smart contract at that address if you're the owner of the NFT. So you can build all the experiences that you see on the Tokenbound site, you can build those into your dApp, and you can kind of build experiences on top of these wallets and use them as an additional wallet inside your dApp. So I can actually show you real quick. Let's see, is this big enough for people to see? Is this like, can people kind of see what's going on here? Awesome. So this is just a normal, this is what you get when you do WAGMI create app. WAGMI is a great front-end development framework. If you're bootstrapping a Web3 app, you can just run, I think it's npm create WAGMI, and it'll spin you up this project. This is basically a super basic project with the one exception that I've added the Tokenbound SDK. I've done npm install at tokenbound/SDK, and now it's installed. So I just run this server real quick. All right, so I'm running the development server. I should be able to spin it up locally. And fingers crossed that the Wi-Fi works, and it'll spin it up. There we go. So this is what you get when you just create a new WAGMI project. It has some things out of the box. And you can see at the top, we've added this Tokenbound account page. And so what you're seeing here is this is the address for the Sapiens project, the Sapiens that I showed you. And this is the token ID, and this is the chain ID. So every EVM chain is a chain ID. Tokenbound accounts are tied to a chain ID. And so with these three inputs, this is the address I get back from the Tokenbound SDK. And so in here, in my React component, it's pretty easy. I just added in the token contract, the token ID, and the and that's it. It uses the chain ID of the provider I'm connected with. And down here, I instantiate a new Tokenbound client, passing it in the provider that I'm working with in the front-end application. If you're using VM, it's really easy to grab that. It's got a nice little hook. If you're using Ethers or something, you can pass that in as well. So I instantiate the Tokenbound client here, and then it's one call away. I call tokenbound.getAccount, and this gives me back the Tokenbound account address for this NFT. And you'll see this address here is the same address that you see in this little iframe here. 0x5416 is Sapiens number 0, and we're passing in Sapiens number 0. We get back the same Tokenbound account address. So you can query that address really easily without having to know anything about how Tokenbound works or how ERC 655 works under the hood. You can get that address information into your applications, and then you can start using it. There are other methods on the SDK. We have a docs page at docs.tokenbound.org where you can see all the methods on the SDK. You can deploy the account. You can you execute calls against the account. It's all pretty much the same. You pass in the provider from your front-end application, and you can start executing against those accounts. So that's the SDK. It's an NPM install away. You can start building 6551 related stuff into your front end without having to worry about how any of the smart contracts work behind the scenes. All that's taken care of for you. You can just use the NFTs that your application is already interacting with and interact with their wallets. So that's one way to build on top of the Tokenbound. It's tokenbound/SDK on GitHub. Another thing we provide is a wallet implementation. So in 6551, you can actually bring your own wallet implementation. You don't need to use ours. You don't need to use anyone's. It's fully decentralized. You can build your own wallet for your NFTs. We provide one that's out of the box. It's got some of the nice things you'll expect from a smart contract wallet, like 4337 supports, 1271 supports, so you can sign messages, some stuff around delegation and things like that. So it's kind of a fully featured, extensible wallet that you can build on top of. And if you're using the SDK, you already are using this out of the box. If you're using the Tokenbound Explorer, you're using this out of the box. But this is a fully open source wallet implementation that you can start using. If you want to hack on building a custom ERC 6551 account implementation, if you want to add custom features to the wallets for your NFTs, you can fork this and go nuts and build a custom implementation. That's the repo for it, tokenbound/contracts. If you're using the SDK, you don't have to worry about it, but you can totally interact directly with this. So I'll show you another demo of this. If I just switch to my contracts directory. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Forge, but this is Foundry, this is Forge, the smart contract development toolkit. This is a script. So this is a smart contract, but I'm going to run it locally. But you can use this same code inside of your smart contract accounts or inside of your smart contracts that you're building this weekend. So getting the Tokenbound account address for an NFT is as simple as using this ERC 6551 account lib from the ERC reference repo. And passing in pretty much the same data that you passed in the SDK. There's two extra parameters. One is the registry address. This is the canonical registry that's deployed on every chain. So this is the registry address. The second is a wallet implementation address. So this is using our wallet implementation. Again, it's deployed across chains. You can feel free to use it. If you're going to do a custom implementation, you would pass your own custom implementation address here. And then the rest is the details about the NFT. So a chain ID of 1 because it's on mainnet, the contract address of the NFT, and the token ID, which is 0. And then the final argument is a salt. And so by default, this is 0. You can use the account with a salt of 0. But if you're used to using wallets within MetaMask, where you have one seed phrase, but you can have many wallets, it's the same kind of thing. You can have one implementation for a wallet, but you can have many wallets for an NFT using that implementation. Just change the value of salt. So these are the default values, these two for the registry and Tokenbound account address, and then 0 for the salt. And then the middle 3 are your token information, the chain ID, token contract, and token ID. And so if I run this, all this is going to do is calculate the account address of the NFT locally and log it out. If I run this script using Forge, it'll run this, and then it gives me back the same address, 0x5416, because we're calculating the address for my NFT. And the same kind of thing. You can use the, you can call directly into the account contract from your smart contracts and use the execute call functions or the other functions on the Tokenbound account. So you can have smart contracts that are aware of NFTs, that are aware of the NFT's wallets, and do really interesting things with them. One cool thing about if you're doing this with either the SDK or the Solidity library is you're not actually calling in to any contracts. You're not making an RPC call when you calculate the address for an NFT. You're not making a contract call when you use Solidity to calculate the address. Because addresses can be statically computed by the client, you don't actually need to make that network call. It just happens locally, which is kind of a cool benefit that you get with 6551. Anyways, so there's a client SDK that you can use in your front-end apps. There's a Solidity SDK. You can pull it in from the ERC 6551 repo. You can also pull in our wallet contracts and start building in your application. So let's talk about wallet. One other thing we have is an iframe. So you probably saw when I was playing around with the Sapiens NFT that there's this little thing in the bottom that shows you the contents of the wallet, shows you the assets it owns, it shows you the wallet address. This is something we built for the Sapiens project because it's really useful if you're going to be on OpenSea trading NFTs to see the contents of the NFT's wallet and to see its wallet address. Or like I can come in here and I can copy and paste the wallet, and then I can go over to Etherscan, I can paste it. It's really nice to have this information accessible in OpenSea. This is all open source. So if you want to use this iframe in your projects, it's really simple. There's a repo here. It's tokenbound/iframe. I believe if you chat with Ray afterwards, there's also a URL that you can do it. What you do is when you're creating an NFT, you can pass in a custom animation URL field in the metadata, and that can point to a full website. So if you pass in an animation URL and you use the Tokenbound iframe, you'll get the artwork of your NFT rendered, but this nice little account overlay that shows you the contents of the account and the account address within the NFT. And so that's a nice little way, in the interim before OpenSea and all the other marketplaces support Tokenbound accounts natively, you can build in support for it at a visual level using the iframe. So that's at Tokenbound/iframe on GitHub. Again, we'll be here all weekend, so come find us and we can walk you through using that. Finally, docs.tokenbound.org. So this is where all the information you'll need to work with Tokenbound accounts is, the contract addresses for both the registry and for the implementations, some information on using the SDKs, the iframe. So anything you want to know about Tokenbound accounts or using the Tokenbound tools is at docs.tokenbound.org. And if you're interested in the actual EIP spec itself, you can look that up at EIP 6551. It should be on the EIP site, and you can read through here. This is kind of a really in-depth, exactly how it works behind the scenes, deep into some of the theories of it and all of the ways that the smart contracts are structured. For building on top of it, you don't necessarily need to know that, but you can go there and see it if you think that's cool. Finally, we've got some bounties we're giving out this weekend. So we're here. We would love to see people building on top of ERC 6551, building on top of this concept that every NFT comes with a wallet now. And so we would love to see you all build crazy stuff with this. We have some ideas for you if you don't have stuff planned yet. We've got some prizes for the best use of it, just best overall. We've got the best NFT use or NPC use case if you want to do some crazy stuff combining NFTs with AI controllers that do actions on chain. We think that's a really interesting use case. If you were around at Pragma yesterday, you saw a demo of Benny talking with an NFT via a Web3 chat app, and that NFT actually executing on-chain actions to send him stuff. If you want to do something similar in that vein, where you're giving NFTs AI capabilities, you can use, that's the NPC category. We'd love to see you build it. Infrastructure. We would love to see some things built on top of this to make it easier to build with Tokenbound accounts. So if you are building this weekend on top of ERC 6551, running into issues, or just seeing things that you think should exist, like indexers, if you want to build Wallet Connect support, if if you want to build tooling for getting snapshots of a whole collection's Tokenbound account addresses, or even if you just want to submit a pull request to any of the open source tools, that's the infrastructure category. We would love to see all of you build on top of ERC 6551 and contribute to some of the stuff we're doing open source. Finally, if you're a little bit less technical and you don't want to do like some crazy Solidity or front-end stuff, we've got a prize for the best on-chain media use case. If you're creating art using 6551, what happens if you have composable NFTs that change the artwork? Or if you want to do like some interaction design or some visual design, or how do we represent this concept of NFTs owning wallets and those wallets owning assets, doing some visual stuff around that is a category for that. So anyways, that's ERC 6551. Every NFT comes with a wallet now. Every NFT that you launch this weekend in your projects will come with a wallet, and you can feel free to use that. So yeah, thanks so much.